This is a SONOFMAN presentation. As y'all all know, frequencies of thought, this is where we literally open up our celestial ears and we literally interpret and understand the world and all the things within the world with our consciousness, which envelopes the universe. For your mind is a replica of how space is ever expanding. Peace and blessings, everyone. This is Frequencies of Thought.
Whether people would like to admit it or not, nothing in life was meant to be easy. These are lessons, experiences that teach humanity to advance spiritually and consciously. Most of you still have no clue. But as I said before, many times in my past rhetorical lectures, you will have to come here to learn, whether you like it or not.
Ain't nothing changed. All past lectures speak for me. They were laid before the actual events. All my lectures. Go back. Go back to my first lecture and you would see how I explain how there will come a time where there will be a group of people left on the earth. And the people would have survived from going from state to state, fleeing the military and disease. And I also explained how before they knew it, they would all be in the direction of the southeast of the United States of America. Well, the southeast happens to carry 4 states, which are mind states. We're talking about South Carolina, North Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, of course, and then Florida, your 4 states. I explained in that video as well how those brothers and sisters that would flee would have to come over here and basically learn how to reintegrate into the truth of God, which is the truth of humanity, which is the truth of the planet and the cosmos in general. In other words, some of you will have to literally get here, get separated from some of the other people that you might come with or that you might see around you, simply because you are sick. The great thing is that when you all get here, we'll all know, those individuals who are with me will know exactly how to treat you and get Satan out of you. Not just Satan, but literally the disease that is actually all over the world. Everyone will come here to learn. That is a sellout. Those are frequencies that were given to me earlier, years earlier in time. For a time as what you are seeing occurring right now. The Father will cause all of you to look in this direction. He will constantly do that because all of you will have to come here. So of course He's going to cause all of you to look over in this direction. This is important because each of you that will end up coming over here will come here and you will no longer wonder. You will no longer have that mind state of being unsure or confusion about what's right, what's wrong. Is this true? Is this not true? If this means this, what does that mean about me? What's my point? What's my role in this whole thing? I answer all of that for each and every single one of you. And for many, I already have. So, we are quickly approaching the time where the powers that be will create smoke screens to try to keep you, the people, dumb, deaf, and blind to what the climate and the atmosphere is really doing. As we speak right now, as you're listening to this, the animals are dying across the earth. The livestock, the food has dwindled to basically naught. The country wars, the wars across the seas that are now beginning to erupt will become, of course, much, much more prevalent. These will all be done as smoke screens to keep you unfocused, to keep you not aligned to what's really going on right above your head, right in front of you, right around you, to the people that live right next door to you. Everyone's genetics is literally shifting minute by minute, second by second. And as it shifts, new pathways of the brain are beginning to open. As I stated, not everyone will go through this transfiguration. Just some of you. It's just some of you. Because many of you did not listen. Many of you are still ready to make war against another brother or sister simply because you believe that racism actually exists, when racism was actually created by the powers that be that still hold power over you, obviously, because you still can't see past it. That's not our fault. That's actually your fault. You should all see what the enemy is doing. It's plain as day. It's not even a secret right now.
How evident? Didn't he state that someone would come bearing his name? And the person that is to open this book would be reading it out? The parables and all, the poems, the songs, as if it were a recipe? Dumbfinding the minds of the masses? Therefore leaving you all numb and confused, not knowing what is right or left? All of you are still going to have to come here if you survive.
Me or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Because to hurt me, they're going to try to hurt you. Mark my words. You're seeing it right now. To hurt me, they're going to try to hurt you. You have to let go of all the physical, emotional attachments that this web has basically trained you with. You have to let it go, because it will literally victimize you and literally leave you for dead after you witness your entire family and those you loved and cared for perish. Are you truly ready for that? Are you truly willing to undergo such a strenuous situation? I seriously doubt it. I seriously doubt it. How much more evident does my father have to be? How much more proof do you need? Have I not told you who the Father is? Have I not showed you what the Father is saying in Scriptures? Have I not showed you what it is that the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, and all the tablets that are archaic pertaining to Scripture is really actually talking about? Verbatim. Have I not told you that Scriptures is biological? The Scriptures is talking about your DNA, and that your DNA is time, and time is money, and money in this world is power? That's because money is your DNA. That's because money is your time. And that is because money is your energy. So if you don't know why you are literally lacking self-manifestation and everything is going bad for you, you need to understand what I just stated. Because until you do, your life will not change. It'll only get worse. Far, far, far worse. After every lecture that I put up there, I try to do one once a week, not because I'm lazy, but because I know what I'm doing. I'm altering your reality. Not just your reality, but the reality of the entire globe, those in this country and in others. That is what I'm doing. After every lecture, things increase. And those things that increase literally deal with the things that I spoke about, so that you can get the lesson through experience. Because my Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Thor, Melchizedek, understands that you are a people who need to see things and experience things, no matter how harsh it is, in order to learn. And that's sad, because it means that many of you need to see death and destruction and blood in order for you to realize the simple things that I'm stating. This isn't about anybody serving me. I don't even serve myself. I serve my Father, who is the creator of the heavens and the earth. What do I need you to serve me for? You can't do nothing for me. There ain't anything that any one of you out there can give me, can show me, can teach me. Because what matters is not the things of this world. What matters are the things of my Father, which is in the spiritual realm. Those of you dealing with this art of black magic, white magic, new truth, magic, science is a form of magic. And you have to understand that many of you have allowed yourselves to be pulled into these continuums of the mind that are literally causing your DNA to be altered through the things that you're ingesting. Not just physically, not just the things you're eating like a hamburger, but the things you're seeing, thinking, hearing, listening to, and feeling. None of you even know yourselves. You know how sad that must be? Seriously, do you not think it's sad that you don't even know your true self? You ignore the positive aspect of who you are. You only have integrity when you're supposed to have integrity, instead of having integrity as a trait, as a morale, as a guide. And I said guide, not God. We're about to see many, many people suffer. Many, many people suffer. Wake up, my people. This is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt like nothing has ever hurt it before. As a collective country, as a global collective, the acts and actions that are to befall this land will ripple across the world in its entirety. Even the cosmos will tremble at what is about to take place.
Radiant made this one.
And all of you will find yourself trying to get here. And the first things that they're going to do is block your passage. Mark my words. Salah. Mark my words. Salah. Mark my words. Salah. Every lecture that I give you is a lecture given down from the Most High, from a whole nother dimension, and outside of that dimension, from a whole nother realm, at the highest dimensions of that other realm, that is 7 times past that realm. Follow me and focus. And from there, it ping, 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 and bounce off of the algebra, your genealogy, your generation, and boom.
Radiant made this one.
Everything is found within yourself. Everything. So all of you who are listening to me, you know exactly who I'm talking to. It is you who has the strength within you. It's in your blood. It's in your blood. It's in your genealogy. It's your descendants who have been basically held back. How? By causing you and your people and those before you and your genealogy to look outside of themselves instead of actually focusing on who is within themselves, because Christ is rising in you. Thought Melchizedek is rising in you. That is who is connected to all your genealogies. It ain't nobody else. It ain't nobody outside you. The Bibles is talking about you. The tablets, the bag of Vegetas, all of the Bibles and all of the Qurans that you can find in the universe, they're talking about you. They're talking about how you would one day be purified enough to literally identify your true self within yourself. And when that happens, everything changes. Everything changes. You can think this is all about a mystery God all you want. But the only thing I know is who I am. And the only thing you actually know is who you are. Always remember that. That's who everything is written about. You. The real you. The pure you. That's who this is all about. You. That's who I'm talking to. The real you, the holy you, the pure you, inside of you, the one who can tell what's about to happen, the one who knows that they're lying to you, the one who knows that they need to start doing a little bit of physical exercises as well as mental exercises to elevate because something is about to go down. That's who I'm talking to, the real you.
It comes down into my cerebral cortex, lighting up my hypothalamus, trickling both ways to my medulla oblongata as well as my pituitary, inflaming my glands, my cities, my universities, and re-editing the education that was given to them for these past 40 years that I've been on this earth. And then I turn around, compute the information, chop it up into pieces, and put it on rhetorical lectures audibly so that you, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters of God, earth and gods, kings and queens, could finally know the truth, could finally stop asking those questions that have boggled this generation and 14 generations before it. That is what I do. I don't do this to soothe my ego or soothe my charisma. Charisma be damned. Character be damned. I don't give a crap about any of that. This is solely to help and cure all of you. You have a sickness, and that sickness is called lie, deception, parasitic. It's a cancer that is literally eating its way from within you, and it's irradiating to your children, your husbands, your wives, your brothers, your sisters. Because that's what lies is. It's contagious. And that parasite is very much like a lie. It's contagious. So again, we begin where the energies of the earth have risen in crescendo. And as the earth's atmosphere seeds us with its potent power, those of you, as I've stated, who are willing and dealing in negativity, playing games with the arts, and playing games with my father, your father, you'll fall deeper down that rabbit hole. And it'll be harder for us to get you out that well. And the same for the lucky ones who are in the positiveness of our Father, who are truly seeking for the truth within themselves, not outside themselves. There's nothing outside you. Not even the trees and gardens that you can plant are real. The only thing real here is you. And those of you who are the truisms of this world, the ones manipulating reality and manipulating time, whether you know it or not, the ones who this government, this HK, Harad King, is after. Those of you who's trying to kill with his drones, and his devices and his weather manipulation. You, my people, you. You'll find yourself here, ascending consciously with the true gifts of our Father.
And again, this has nothing to do with a mystery God. This has everything to do with the true and living God, which is made manifest through the flesh. Christ is said to come in the flesh. Who are we speaking about? We're speaking about you. You who's listening to me right now. You can literally think within yourself and envision yourself in any part of the world. That is the power of God. And I am speaking to all of you that can literally understand that metaphysical aspect of yourself in which I am bringing forth to you and through you. Because thought is within all living beings. So the true and living beings of the earth bear my name. They bear my Father's name. And I come in his name. And his name is thought. Melchizedek. And his name is thought by the order of Melchizedek that is found deep within the pits of each individual in this planet that has gone through adversity and oppression due to what this government and its faculties and corporations have made you basically susceptible to. You, your mom, dad before them, and the ones before them, and the ancestors before those ancestors, and the ancestors before all of those ancestors. Each of us, we're in each other. I'm a cell inside you, you're a cell inside me, and we all bear the Father's name, thought. No one will survive anything that's going on. No one will survive anything that's going on unless they use thought. That is who is with you from the day you are born until the day that you allow yourself to die, to accept death. If I'm wrong, correct me. Your thoughts cannot be chained. It cannot be whipped. It cannot be set afire. It cannot be pushed around or shoved unless you allow it to be done. This is a spiritual war. The spiritual aspect of things are the metaphysical aspects of things, meaning the spiritual things, the things that are above, on the other side, that which is the shadow of the physical world or the physical realm. That is who you are, and that is actually what you are. I've told y'all all before. I've told y'all the beginning and the ending. Ain't none of that change. It still stands. I told all of y'all they'll literally keep you from coming to these particular states by literally making you believe that these states are the most worst or the ones you can't find yourself in or get to. But I also told you that they would be the first ones that they would block off. Atlanta, Florida, and Georgia. South Carolina, North Carolina. I've told all of y'all that. That's what you're seeing them do right now on the news. Which means that they're about to pull something that's gonna make everyone pretty much believe that what they're pimping out at that time is reality. You must stay in thought. You must stay in thought. When you give your thoughts, you receive. When you give yourself, you receive. When you give those outside yourself, recognizing yourself within them, you get.
Radiant made this one.
Revelation 12:1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. So because I know people like this scripture, and many of them are scared of the scripture, and many of them confuse the scripture with violence and other crazy lunacy of thought that comes to them. We're going to break it down verse by verse. Revelation 12:1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven. This is literally just talking about your mind, your thoughts. An idea pops up. When the idea pops up, it's like the best idea ever. It's like the best thought ever. That's what it's basically trying to describe to you. A woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet. This is because your wisdom in your mind, what you use to add up something or to add up that knowledge, is called the wisdom, and it is woman. This is why Abraham had Sarah. This is why Jesus had Mary. This is why Lot had Edith. This is why all of them and many others had their wives with them. This is all basically explaining. And upon her head, a crown of 12 stars. You have 12 systems of the brain. Each one of these systems of the brain, just like you have 12 zodiacs, are influenced by the zodiac star constellations that we call basically Aries, Taurus, Libra, so on and so forth. We are right now in the era at the very end, tip end of Pisces, going into Aquarius, time-wise upon this earth. One precession of an equinox lasts 1,260 years. 1,260 years is also the time frame which Daniel speaks of. This 12 constructs of the brain that are literally influenced by the 12 zodiac signs are also your 12 disciples. They are here to do your bidding. They're here to basically influence the body and the mind to basically follow accordingly and do what the one who sits upon the throne wants to have done. But the sad case about it is that many of us are not sitting on our throne. The one sitting on our throne is basically a parasite. So, because it's a parasite, we have to learn to basically remove the parasite. And once you remove the parasite, these are the things that occur inside of your body and in your brain. So, and upon her head a crown of, and also where it says, I skipped the moon under her feet. The moon under her feet is your heart. Your heart is basically like the moon. It could repel energy as well as receive energy. The moon literally expels energies which bring the tide higher and farther away. And then it also brings the tide in closer and lower.
CJ's making beats
The moon also controls a woman's moon cycle or menstruation cycle. It used to be called menstruation or the moon cycle because it goes off of a 27-day calendar, Gregorian calendar time limit, basically, is what it does. So that's what the moon is. So basically, your brain is above your heart. So he who sits on the throne, which is basically your pineal gland, that are known as the third eye, is literally, his feet would be over your heart, which would be over the moon. Remember, the moon is also an emotional construct. This is why it's so magnetic. This is why it's literally controlling the gravitational pull of the oceans and the seas and the women on our earth. And it only does that, is capable of doing that, because of the things that the woman is actually ingesting. It is not natural for a woman to actually be menstruating and spitting out blood on a monthly basis like that. So if you're trying to stop doing that, all you have to do is stop taking in the heavy base metals that they're basically putting in your food and making you ingest into your body. Because that's what's actually controlling that field of energy inside you. Revelations 12:2. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pains to be delivered. Revelations 12:2, breakdown. And she, being with child, she who? Who's with child? Your wisdom. Your wisdom got with the knowledge of something that it just heard. It could be this video right here, this little beginning of this intro, sparked an idea inside you, and that literally caused travailing, a journey of the mind where it wandered off and began adding things up, like, wait a minute, what he just said does make sense. Not only does it make sense, it's logical. I can literally look it up. As a matter of fact, I don't even have to look it up because I know it's true because I've experienced these things. That is basically what this is basically portraying or trying to explain. And pains to be delivered. Travailing in birth and pains to be delivered. Why travailing? It's because it's journeying, it's wandering. The mind wanders. That's what the mind does. It reasons and it wanders. Why is it travailing in pain? It's because when a woman brings forth a child physically, on a physical level, she goes through pain. That same format, your wisdom, before it brings about an understanding, it does the addition of the knowledge and the wisdom, which literally sometimes can be painful because the truth hurts. So because the truth hurts, and many people don't like to adhere to the truth, even though they know certain things are true, but because it literally would mean that they cannot continue to do something, or that they were wrong, or that they were judgmental about something, this literally bothers them, and they no longer want to acknowledge what the truth is. So that's basically why it travails and why it is pain in birth. Because as that understanding comes, this is what causes the diverse earthquakes in diverse places all over the world. Not the world outside of you, even though you're seeing that happen, but that happens because of the collective field of people waking up. But in you, your foundation is literally being eradicated. It is literally being deconstructed, deconsecrated. All those things that you was holding dear and thought that was sacred, or thought that they were true and and you thought that it was true because you went to school and your teacher said it, then you started going to church and your pastor said it, and now thought comes on, frequencies of thought, and now he's telling me something completely different than what the teacher said and what the preacher said. But what he's saying makes sense. Not only does it make sense, I can research it. But you know what? I don't have to research it. Why? Because I've experienced it. So I know that what he's saying is true. Revelation 12:3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven. And behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon the heads. Revelation 12:3, read that. And there appeared another wonder in heaven. It's basically, remember I told you, your mind wanders. So now, the ideas or the reality of certain things get even deeper. Where on your own, you now begin to add up things on your own without watching frequencies of thought. You begin to literally add up past life experiences, and you're coming up with your own answers, which literally changes your viewpoint on everything that you ever know. And that all happens in your heaven, which is your mind. Now again, there's 37 different meanings to the word heaven, but scripture is basically focused on 4 different types of heaven. Let me explain the 4 different types. We're not going to do the 37, there's too many of them. But the 4 different types is the sky, basically where you see the clouds at. Your mind would be the other one. Space is the other one. And then the joy and happiness that you can feel. I feel like heaven. I feel like I'm in heaven. Those are the 4 different types of heavens that scripture basically focuses on, even though it has 37 other meanings. Well, 33 other meanings. And behold, a great red dragon. This great red dragon, it's not no real dragon. It's not no anything outside you. The great red dragon is you finally hearing me say something that totally obliterates your belief system or your foundation on a belief system, or you on your own come up with a conclusion through your experiences or through the things you research, and it literally changes your viewpoint on something very, very important to you. What this does is that it gets you upset. And a good example of this is when most people basically realize that the government didn't only just lie about 9/11, they didn't just lie about weather manipulation and chemtrails, but if they lied about that, they also must have lied about the God that they gave us. When people come to that realization, most times they go red. They see red. They begin to grow this understanding, because it's not hatred. It's just an understanding where you're beginning to view yourself in a world where all things have been manipulated to basically keep you seated in one type of mentality or one frame of thinking. And this basically is the red dragon. It's the one out of anger that begins to destroy basically all of the other falsehoods that you learned from the fake teachers you find on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, the Pope, the synagogues, having 7 heads and 10 horns. 7 heads because you have 7 major organs. Each major organ of your body is basically a seat
of authority, meaning it has dominion over certain acts and actions and places and jurisdiction.
Your organs are basically universities. Whatever information you take into the body, whether audibly, consciously, physically, through taste, through touch, through smell, through hearing, seeing, thinking, literally gets transmuted and computed into every single organ, which then mass produces into every other cell membrane, into every cell membrane in your body, and you have billions. So that's what your organs are. Your organs are basically universities. They're schools, colleges, organizations. Get it? Organs, organizations. And 10 horns. The 10 horns are basically the 5 senses that you have, which I just basically stated, which are touch, smell, hear, see, feel, and taste, I think is the other one. All of those basically have a spiritual aspect of them. And the spiritual aspect of them is actually the most important, because everything in scripture is actually spiritual. There's nothing physical about your scripture except for the fact that it's not hocus pocus or spookism or fantasy. It's biological. It's astronomical. Meaning what's up in space is also in your body. So when you hear the news talking about all these planets and all these stars and all these asteroids and meteors, they're actually talking about what's going on inside of you and what they're about to do to try to stop you. So the 10, so real quick, for you to understand the senses, you have 5 which are physical, and then you have 5 that are spiritual. This is, for many of you who know scripture, this is basically the 5 with oil and the 5 without oil. And the 5 without oil came to those 5 with oil and told them, hey, sell us some of your oil so that we can go into the wedding chamber. And the 5 with oil, knowing better, said, you know what? Nah, man. That guy over there is selling some. That store, go over there. Go buy some over there. Because the flesh has always been about itself. It wasn't willing to share with the spiritual aspect of who you are, and nor would it ever start. So because it would never start, you have to take its power away by literally alienating it. So in the scripture, what ends up happening is that the 5 without oil go to the store to go get more oil, to go buy some oil basically. And the door opens up. And the door opens up and all the 5 with oil go in, and the door gets shut. And when the door gets shut, the ones without oil finally come and they start banging, and they're like, open, it's us, it's us. And when he opens the door, he tells them, depart from here, I never knew you. That's basically what that really means. So all your teachers out there telling you, if you don't donate to their channel, or if you don't believe the things that they're telling you, or some crazy stuff like that, that you're not going to make it, that's not what that means. This is what it means. And 7 crowns upon his head. Now, notice that it said his head, meaning singular, one person, because the Christ is basically a crown of wisdom bestowed upon us by our Father. That's what Christ is. Christ is not a person called Jesus. That person that you call Jesus never existed. That person that you call Jesus, if he didn't exist then, he's not going to exist now. The true aspect of this whole Jesus Christ thing is only the Christ, which means the anointed. The anointed of what? Of knowledge. The anointed of information, data, with all the answers. That's what the anointed is. It's not nothing fantasy or spookism or ghostly or magical like Hollywood has been feeding your teachers for many years. So the 7 crowns upon his head, as I said, is the total mastery of self. In the word master, you have the word mask and steer. You must learn to steer your mask. Know yourself. Or as Christ said, know thyself. It's the only way. Revelations 12:4. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered for to devour her child as soon as it was born. So now we have an idea that is going up, another idea that was heard or read or imagined, but because it does not have any type of logic to it, of course, it doesn't get to devour the child. Because knowledge will always outweigh anything else. Logic will outweigh anything. It is the answer to all the world's problems. At least that's what I like to say.
Meaning knowledge is the absence of confusion.
Revelation 12:4 breakdown. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars. Okay, so many of you understand that your cells are basically little stars. They generate little sparks of light. Every single cell in your body. What creates the cells in your body, of course, is the nucleus and the organs. But what really creates the cells in your body is something called H2O, better known as water. This is the age, Aquarius, which is the word aqua and Aries, meaning the water leader or the leader of water. Water is basically, in allegorical terms, meaning purity, that which is pure or holy. Aries means leader, or he who thinks with the head, the ram. That's what it means. So Aquarius is basically saying he who is of the Holy Spirit, he who has the passion to be pure. Your body has 3/4 of water in it, 75 to 85% completely of liquid. So when it's stating this, it is literally talking about that this person will literally take his entire body and recalibrate his entire genetic code
back to the way that the Father created it, while others will alter their temples
through the things that he's ingesting, audibly, visually, physically, thoughtfully, as well as physically, of course. So as the idea was about to come out, or as the idea was about to bring forth an understanding to all the lies that it was being taught or told, this dragon that is literally what's keeping you in darkness is trying to devour the idea, the understanding, before it's born. So before you actually come out with the understanding, it'll completely try to sabotage your thoughts or your train of thought. That's what it's talking about. Revelation 12:5. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up and unto God and to his throne. Okay? So now, the breakdown. And she brought forth a man-child. A man-child is basically what we know and understand as the Christ. That new understanding of who you truly are and what you truly are and what you're truly supposed to be doing here. A true child of God does not indulge in the things of the world. He's the person telling you to let go of the world. He's the person revealing all of the lies that you've been told that have been basically placed on your heart. Meaning that which you love, which is your God, your Father, and His Son, which is, it's really literally yourself, but they telling you it's somebody else so that you can never find them. It's the oldest trick in the book. You must find the master. And the master is you the whole time. And you run around the whole world trying to find the master. Look at the generations after civilizations and after other civilizations that have passed without the answer. You guys are very lucky. You know how many people in the past wish that they were here now? What did the Christ tell them? He said, some of you will be here, but some of you will be asleep. He was talking about your genealogy. And when I say he, I'm not talking about no Jehoshua or no Jesus or nothing like that. I'm talking about the person that embodied the Christ at that particular point in time. Who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. All the metals in your body are literally the things that literally cause the synapses of your brain to basically snap and merge together and bring about thought, bring about an action and a reaction, instinct, intuitiveness. It's literally understanding that iron is unbreakable, unbendable. It's understanding and viewing yourself with integrity, principle, loyalty. No longer hesitating or faltering and not upholding your promises or your word. Because you're bound by your word. I'll tell you that right now. Everyone will answer for their word. Every promise, every word you've ever uttered especially if it was a lie. But whether you did it to basically not hurt somebody's feelings or not, it does not matter. This is what love does. Love basically hinders growth and development. When you love somebody physically, you do not love them spiritually. It's impossible. You can't serve two masters. You must understand that. The true definition of love, if you go look in your dictionaries right now, you'll see that all of it, after summing all of those different definitions that they got, because they got many, many definitions to love. I'm going to tell you that right now. I've seen it. When you look at them, it sums up to what it was originally supposed to be, or what it really is, which is growth and development. That is what love is. The Father loves you so much that He allows you to grow and develop through your own life experiences by literally granting you the nefesh, which is the soul, and your will, which is attached to that soul. You must learn to view one another and your children in that same format. Because until you do, you won't be able to let go of the things of this world. This is why Satan introduced all these things to you. Computers, beepers, cell phones, laptops, Mickey Mouse, Disney, cartoons, Hollywood, Matrix, this and that and this, so that you can fall in love with it. Cars, sneakers, clothes, jackets, makeup, hairstyle, barbershop, games. It was so that you would fall in love with it and you would not be able to let it go. And on the other end, it's literally taking you deeper and deeper and deeper into the matrix where the things of reality don't matter. You've been so desensitized that you can't even comprehend reality anymore. And I'm talking to many of you. Y'all know who you are. This ain't no secret. What you think, when people talk to you, they don't know? The only way they don't know is if they're just like you, in that mind state. But the sons and daughters of God, they know. But again, growth and development is something they do not cross, so they allow you to literally live through your own experiences. But they do try to give you direction. Remember, G-O-D, good orderly direction. And the word God literally means wisdom, strength, and beauty. Wisdom, as I explained, is married to knowledge. And them two together bring about strength. And that man-child that was born is the beauty. It's your understanding. It's your creation. That is everyone's creation, their understanding. And her child was caught up unto God and to His throne. And that understanding, that child, that true you, spiritual you, holy you, pure you, after adding all of the falseness of this world up and realizing it's all a big lie, what ends up happening is that you begin to understand on a higher level. You begin to think on a higher level. Why? Because now your third eye has opened and you know that all the things that they told you is real is not real. And you begin to look upon your own by going within yourself for that which is real. Hence, Scripture speaks about those of Israel. Because those of Israel are looking for that which is real within themselves. And they understand that once they find that which is within themselves that is real, only then can it irradiate out of them onto the earth, bringing about a new Jerusalem, a new earth. Scripture tells you that upon this earth, the city of New Jerusalem descends from the heavens onto the earth. The new descending of the heavens is literally talking about your thoughts. You manifesting the reality of how the Father wanted it to be, and not how man and their creations and their ideas wanted it to be. So that throne, as I explained earlier, is your pineal gland. Notice all the real prophets of the Scriptures, all of them go to the island of Pineal. And while there, they go to total darkness. It was so dark that they get afraid, they said. And then they, all of a sudden, hear a voice. Don't be afraid, my child. Or stand up, my child. And they're face to face with their Father, their thought. That's basically talking about meditation. Not physically, spiritually. I'm not sending any one of you or telling any one of you to go sit like an Indian somewhere. For what? You can walk and talk to the Father just like you can walk and chew bubblegum. You don't got to move your lips to talk to Him. You are the temple of God. He's inside you. Talk to Him. Not physically, spiritually. All of the things that have ever hurt you, that have bothered you, tell it to Him from your heart. He can hear you. You don't even have to speak English for Him to hear. You don't have to speak Spanish. You don't have to speak Chinese, Mandarin. You can hum. You can utter sounds. You can chirp. You can do whatever you want, and He would know what you're saying. Why? Because He's inside you. Not only is He inside you, but if He is inside you, that would mean that, logically speaking, He is you. Didn't Christ say, you are God, but you will die as mortal men? And then another time He said that you would die like the kings of the earth, kings and queens of the earth. What, we're going to ignore that now? Y'all all want to act like y'all true disciples of Christ, but y'all picking and selecting certain scriptures to pay attention to. Revelations 12:6. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. And of course, we already know what that is, because I just explained that. And the woman fled to the wilderness. That means that your wings you were given wings. Your wings are basically your thought. Your thought, the idea. That which brought forth the idea, which is in the form of knowledge. So these things I'm telling you, this is knowledge. I'm giving you knowledge. It's up to you to take that knowledge, because you don't want to lack knowledge. I'm going to tell you that right now. And literally add up what I'm saying with your own past experiences. That which you have saw, felt, and that which you can really research and prove as factual. Because if you cannot prove it, it is not real. Especially in this world. In the world we live in right now, that which cannot be proven through research or through an experience, it's not true. You have to understand that. So the wilderness is basically your thoughts. And the knowledge which I'm giving you, and the knowledge which I have given you in past rhetorical lectures, and in chats, and so on and so forth, personally, if we have ever met, that information, you are to take it and literally bring it with you into your thoughts. And in your thoughts, let it ping pong around for a little bit.
Let it evolve.
I guarantee you that the answer you'll come up with will be logical. It'll be sensible. It'll be true. Again, I don't research none of the things that I'm teaching you. I don't need to. The Father has given me it. And He's willing to give it to you. You just have to be ready for it. You have to really truly want it by knowing yourself. There is no little G's or big G's here. I'm just like you. The difference is that I know that my soul's in every single one of you. That is the difference. And because I know that, this is how I know that there's no little G or big G. So the wilderness is your thoughts. And the wings that got you to the wilderness is the knowledge or the information, the data, the input. Where she had a place prepared of God. Why not for God? Why not to God? Why of God? It is of God because that's what you are. You are gods and goddesses.
And that's a selah. This is frequencies of thought. With all that said and done, knowledge, peace to all the gods in the earth, upon the earth, selah, frequencies.